I'm Steve Shelley with Diesel Domination, and I just wanted to make this quick video here to share with you the top 5 things that I've learned over the last 17 years of being in the diesel performance industry that'll help you improve your Power Stroke, Cummins, or Duramax's fuel economy. Now, here's a staggering number for you. The average diesel truck owner will keep their truck 200,000 miles before they trade it off. I don't care if it's a Power Stroke, it's a Cummins, or a Duramax. Talking to diesel truck owners on the phone every day, I'm talking working class daily drivers like yourself. The average diesel gets 15 to 16 miles per gallon. I know there's guys out there that brag they're 25 miles per gallon and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I've spent 17 years on the phone talking to folks just like yourself. The average is 15 to 16 miles per gallon. I don't care if it's a Power Stroke, a Cummins, or a Duramax. That's the average. At today's fuel prices, at that fuel economy, if you keep your truck 200,000 miles, you're going to spend over $40,000 just in fuel. But here's the one thing that's really important to know when it comes to fuel economy. If you can get that truck from 15 to 18 miles per gallon, just a 3 mile per gallon increase, you will save over $6,000 in fuel cost. Now, I'm pretty sure that you can think about a lot of other things you'd like to do with $6,000 other than dump them into your fuel tank, And I want you to remember this video the next time you're at the fuel pump and you're standing there watching the numbers clicking on there. Oh yeah, Steve Shelley told me I should be doing this, this, and this to get better fuel economy. So here's the things that you need to be doing. The first thing is that fuel that you're putting in there, make sure it is the best possible quality fuel that you can find. Sometimes that they make different formulations. You take a top name brand, fuel distributor over here versus this one over here. Their fuel formulations are probably different. I would test each one out to see which one gives you the better fuel economy. And also make sure that fuel is very fresh. You don't want to pull into some little town and there's a fuel pump there that diesel's been sitting in there for, 6 months to a year because they just don't fill up a lot of diesels. You want some place that continuously has fresh fuel going in there and also has the best formulation for your truck. The second thing that really is a big thing when it comes to fuel economy is your tire size and your tread pattern. Now, I get guys that call me all the time and say, man, this truck gets horrible mileage, like, 12, 13 miles per gallon. And one of the things I ask them all the time is, what kind of tires do you have on there? What size of tires do you have on there? Because when you start getting up in there in those, 33, 34, 35-inch tires, you're putting a lot more rubber on the road. And you get away from a highway tread into an off-road tread, your fuel economy. My personal truck, I just saw that happen. I live here in Montana. I use my truck in the mountains. I hunt with my truck. But I went from an all-terrain tire to a mud tire last year, a really cool Cooper tire it's a great tire. But guess what? I ate it when it comes to fuel economy. I lost a few miles per gallon just switching from an all-terrain to a mud tire. So if I was to run my truck on the highway all the time, I would find probably a really good Michelin tire with good highway tread. I'd go out and I'd read the different, like TireRack.com. I'd read all about these tires and see which ones people are seeing the best economy with. So your tires are really big also. The third thing that'll affect your fuel economy is a dirty air filter or dirty fuel filter. Your air filter and your fuel filter, man, they're the lifeblood of your truck. That air and fuel coming in has got to get freely into your truck. Make sure you can have clean filters all the time. A lot of times guys will say, oh, it's clean. I just changed it 10,000 miles ago. Well, you pull it out and you look it up at the light and you can't even see through it. You can't even see any kind of light coming through it. It's probably not very dirty. There's a lot of bugs in there, grasshoppers. You can see the dirt. No, that's killing your fuel mileage. So make sure you got a clean air filter and fuel filter in your truck all the time. Now, the fourth thing, not very many people know about, but I'm telling you what, I've done this to my truck, and I think it is one of the best things out there, and that is a product called BG245. It's made by a company called BG Products. It's an injection flush. You buy it as a quart. You dump the whole quart into your tank of fuel, and you run that tank of fuel, and then you want to change your fuel filter because it just cleans stuff out. and out of your tank, out of your fuel lines, out of your injectors, out of your pump. It'll clean things out. And I tell you, my truck, I had put a fresh engine in my truck here a few years ago. My Duramax has got 520,000 miles on the vehicle, but at 480,000 miles, I put a fresh engine in it that only had 40,000 miles. I put fresh injectors in it, and I think we updated the turbo. But that truck was stuck literally at 14 and a half miles per gallon. I'm a tuner. I tune Duramax diesels for a living, right? And I couldn't get my personal truck, over 14 and a half miles per gallon, and I was getting frustrated. Well, I kind of let it set all winter. The next spring, I went back at it, and I said, I'm going to run some of this BG245 through before I get back to working on it again. Guess what? One tank of fuel, I jumped up 4 miles per gallon. I went from 14 and a half to 18 and a half miles per gallon just with running one tank of BG245 through. Something was in there in that fuel lines, injector, the fuel rail pressure, or the fuel rail itself, my pump, something. I don't know where, but it cleaned it out. And man, that truck just jumped right up in fuel economy. And that was stock. That was before I even added one of my tunes to that truck. Now, when I tune it, I can get up over 20 miles per gallon, if I stay going down the highway at a constant speed at the right RPM, about 1900 RPMs. So BG245, go to Google, type in BG products or bgprod.com, put your zip code in there and find a local distributor for it. Your auto parts stores don't carry it. You got to get it from like a mechanic shop or somebody like that. So BG245, I would run a quart of that at least once a year. They also have another product that I'm investigating right now. I was just talking to my local distributor. They put it in our county here. They started adding it, and they have 130 pieces of diesel equipment. That's generators, that's dump trucks, that's all this stuff. They used to replace 43 injectors a year, and once they started running the BG cleaner through, they're down to replacing only 3 injectors a year. So that stuff really makes a difference when it keeps your injectors healthy and cleaned out. Now, the fifth thing that I'm going to tell you, that I think that every diesel owner, if you really want to bump your mileage up, I've been doing this business 17 years, and I think the best product on the market today to do that is the Dr. Performance Pro Diesel module. I started working with Dr. Performance back in 2003 when Doc Sadler released his very first modules. Doc Sadler is literally one of the true pioneers of diesel performance. He was setting land speed records in 12-valve and 24-valve Cummins back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I mean, talking records that still hold today. And these are trucks that you could drive down the highway. He was setting land speed records in them. Well, when I met him, he was switching over into electronics because everything was going with the electronic common rail engines. I started selling these modules here in Montana to farmers and ranchers. Mainly, I was selling them as just for performance, for a 70, 80 mile per or horsepower gains. But I had farmers and ranchers coming back to me going, man, Steve, I'm not sure, but I just made a trip to Billings, Montana and back that would normally, take me a whole tank of fuel. I got back with a quarter tank of fuel. And I started hearing this regularly. So I realized that not only were we increasing the horsepower and torque of the truck, these guys were getting better fuel economy out of it. So I actually worked close with Dr. Performance to kind of tune these in to get it to a better torque curve in there to increase the mileage better. So we had more consistent fuel mileage gains. And, this is a diesel performance module. It's a power module. It's going to add horsepower and torque. But I'll tell you what, the reason that most of these newer trucks today get such crappy fuel mileage is because they were detuned for emissions. See, today you can have detuned. My truck's got tons of horsepower. Yes, it does. Above 3,000 RPMs. But when you're driving down the highway between 1,400 and say 1,800 RPMs, your truck was detuned to meet emissions in that area, because that's where they measure the emissions, is in that RPM range. And what this box does, it brings your horsepower or a torque curve up quicker off the bottom to get you up to that peak efficiency. So your truck doesn't feel like it's lugging going down the road. Your truck feels like it just breaks away freely and just like it glides down the road. And that's when you know that you've reached the peak efficiency of that engine. And I'm telling you what, 17 years of experience working with this box, tens of thousands of customers. I am 100% sure that what I'm telling you, you will get the results of at least up to a 20% increase. And remember what I said before, if you can take your diesel from 15 miles per gallon to 18 miles per gallon, you will save over $6,000 in fuel costs over the life of your truck. So a $600 investment into this module can save you over $6,000 in fuel. That's a pretty darn good investment, you ask me. Plus, I tell you what, the big feedback customers love about this module, it just absolutely eliminates turbo lag. You know, you're sitting there at a stoplight, you've got a pretty heavy trailer on behind you, you go to hit that throttle and it kind of just sits there for a second waiting for the turbo to spool up, and you're waiting for the light to almost turn red while you're in the middle of the road. Guess what? You install this module, boom, you're gone. You're pulling onto the highway, you hit your throttle, boom, you're up into traffic without waiting for your turbo to spool up. So it gets rid of that turbo lag, gives you a much quicker throttle response, which makes a much better driving experience. And I tell you what, that alone is worth the cost of the model, this module. Plus the horsepower, okay? You know, it's got a selector switch that goes with this, 30, 60, 90 horsepower. Most of our customers will just run it to 60, just leave it there. That's where they seem to see the best mileage gains. They can hook up a trailer, get that thing up out of the hole a lot easier. When they're pulling steep grades, they can stay in higher gears. And that really, it helps, fuel economy right there. If you can stay in that higher gear instead of it searching for gears back and forth, if you can hold that gear, you're going to have better fuel economy. So anyways, if you want to know more about this module, click on Learn More below this video. It'll take you to my website. I've got tons and tons of information about this, how it's warranty friendly because it doesn't leave a fingerprint on your computer. How you install it is on there. It's real simple. It's got factory plugs that come in the wiring harness. Just snaps right into your wiring harness. You don't have to remove your emissions. That's a myth, okay? Do not modify your emissions equipment on your truck. It's illegal. It's a myth that you have to do that to get better fuel mileage, and that's really not the cause of the bad fuel mileage. It's the detuning part that I'm talking about. That's the biggest cause of the mileage, and this will restore your truck's power on the low end to do that. This is safe. It's safe for the drivetrain. It will not overfuel your engine, so you don't need to make other modifications of bigger air intakes, exhaust gas probes, any of that. You do not need that. We are working with daily driver diesels. Working class truck owners like yourself is what this is engineered for. This is not a hot rodders product. I don't sell this to the hot rodder crowd. I sell it to you, the daily driver diesel. So anyways, enough of me going on and on here. Click on the Learn More. Go to our video or go to our website. Take a test drive. I'm offering a 180-day challenge right now that if you run this for 180 days in your truck and it doesn't do what I'm telling you right now that it's going to do, then that's boost your fuel economy up to 20%. If you go the full 180 days and then call me back and say, Steve, I want to return it, I'll give you 110% refund on your money. Yep, I said that, 110%. So click on Learn More, go to my website right now, add it to your cart, try this a full 6 months, 180 days. And if it doesn't do everything I'm telling you it's going to do, guess what? I'll give you 110% refund. So anyways, click Learn More and I'll be talking to you soon.